Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money effortlessly? Why wealth just flows to them, while others struggle no matter how hard they work? I'm here to tell you a secret that's been hidden in plain sight for decades. A secret shared by Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the greatest spiritual teachers on money and abundance. She said it clearly: your word is your wand. Speak the words of abundance, and watch the universe respond. Yes, your words have power. And not just any words. Specific, intentional words. Words that align your mind, your heart, and your actions with prosperity. Imagine this: you wake up every morning and instead of complaining about bills, you say, "I am a magnet for money. Wealth comes to me in perfect ways." Feels different, right? Even saying it feels like a small spark. But here's the thing: the spark grows. Slowly. Surely. Magically. Let me give you a real-life example. There was a woman named Sarah. She was drowning in debt, anxious every month about rent and bills. One day, she decided to try something different. Every morning, she said aloud, "I am open to receive wealth. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways." 3 months later, she got a promotion she never thought possible. Then a surprise freelance opportunity that doubled her income. And she wasn't just lucky, it was the consistent vibration she created with her words. Now, I know what some of you are thinking: is this really real? Can words alone change my finances? I get it. It sounds simple, almost too good to be true. But consider this: what if the words you say every day are programming your mind? What if complaining, worrying, and fearing money is what's actually keeping you broke? Words are seeds. Seeds need soil, sunlight, and water to grow. Your words are the seeds. Your thoughts and beliefs are the soil. The universe, that's the sunlight. Speak wealth. Believe wealth. And watch it grow. Start small. Every morning, say, "I am worthy of abundance. I attract money easily and effortlessly. Opportunities flow to me now." Say them with feeling. Say them with conviction. Say them until they're part of your story. Because the universe responds to certainty, not doubt. Think about it: if you can spend hours repeating fears, worries, and complaints, why not spend a few minutes repeating words that make your life better? Words that align you with success, freedom, and joy. And here's the most exciting part: as you speak these words, doors start opening. Ideas you never considered appear. People show up at the right time. Unexpected checks arrive. Abundance doesn't just trickle in, it flows. So, I challenge you today: choose your words wisely. Speak them daily. Believe them fully. And watch what happens. Because, as Florence Scovel Shinn said, your word is your wand. Your word can shape your destiny. Say these wealth words daily. And watch money flow into your life in ways you've only dreamed of. Thank you. In this video you will learn about these key points. Words have power, they can attract or repel wealth. Consistently speaking positive, wealth-focused affirmations aligns your mind and actions with abundance. Complaints and fear create resistance to money, while intentional words create flow. Small daily practices, spoken affirmations, can lead to real, tangible financial results. Your mindset and beliefs are the soil in which your wealth seeds grow. Consistency and belief amplify the effect. Repetition turns words into reality. Have you ever stopped to think about the words you speak every single day? The tiny sentences that roll off your tongue before your coffee, on your way to work, when you scroll through your phone at night? Most of us speak without much thought, repeating patterns we've heard for years, without realizing that these words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Seeds that either nourish a life of abundance or stunt it completely. Imagine that, every time you say, "I can't afford this," or "money is so hard to get," you're planting a seed. And that seed grows quietly, invisibly, in the soil of your mind. Over time, it becomes a tree, and the fruit it bears is exactly what you asked for. But not in the way you hoped. Instead of wealth, freedom, and opportunity, the tree bears struggle, scarcity, and limitation. I want to tell you a story about a man named Daniel. Daniel worked hard, more hours than anyone else in his office, more late nights than anyone he could remember, but money always seemed just out of reach. Bills piled up, paychecks disappeared, and every month felt like a battle against the clock. He didn't understand why. He was smart. He was diligent. And yet, somehow, nothing changed. One day, exhausted and frustrated, he muttered to himself, "I'm just unlucky. I'll never get ahead." And in that moment, he didn't realize he had spoken a sentence that would follow him like a shadow. Words like that, even whispered quietly, echo inside the mind. They shape the lens through which we see opportunities, or fail to see them at all. Contrast this with a woman named Maya. She grew up in a modest home, surrounded by people who constantly worried about money. Her parents often said things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "We can barely make ends meet." But Maya had a different experience early in life. She discovered the teachings of Florence Scovel Shinn and began experimenting with the idea that words could shape her reality. Every morning, she would stand in front of her mirror and say, "I am a magnet for wealth. Opportunities flow to me effortlessly. I am open to receive abundance in every form." At first, it felt strange. She laughed at herself. It felt like repeating nonsense. But she persisted. She said it with feeling, with intention, and with a secret sense of hope that anything might change. Within months, small miracles began to appear. A freelance project she hadn't expected brought in extra income. A distant cousin offered her a business lead. Even at the grocery store, she found coupons, discounts, and deals that seemed to arrive as if by magic. And it wasn't magic in the way most people think. It was cause and effect, the law of attraction working quietly but powerfully. The words she spoke daily rewired her perception. She started noticing opportunities where she had once only seen obstacles. Her confidence grew. Her energy shifted. And because her words had shifted her inner world, her outer world began to transform as well. Think about that for a moment. Words aren't just labels we put on reality, they are commands. They are invitations to the universe. When you say, "I am broke," you are telling life, "Show me ways to stay broke." When you say, "I attract wealth," you are opening doors, even if you can't see the handle yet. It's subtle, almost imperceptible at first. But over time, it creates patterns that are impossible to ignore. Your mind starts to recognize possibilities, your intuition becomes sharper, and your actions align with what you've declared with your voice. Consider this: every morning, millions of people wake up and speak words of limitation before they even leave their bed. "I'm tired. I'll never get that promotion. The rent is too high. I can't do this." Can you feel the weight of those sentences? They're like invisible chains wrapping around the day ahead. Contrast that with someone who wakes up and whispers, "I am worthy of abundance. I am capable of earning more. Today brings new opportunities." Suddenly, the same day, the same commute, the same office space feels different. Doors that seemed closed before now appear cracked open. Ideas that never surfaced now spark in the mind. People respond differently to your energy because your energy itself has been shifted by the words you've chosen. There's a quote from Florence Scovel Shinn that captures this perfectly: "Your word is your wand. Your word can shape your destiny." Think about that. A wand isn't just a stick, it's a tool. A wand directs energy. And your words? They direct your life. They are not powerless. They carry intention, vibration, and the ability to summon circumstances, people, and opportunities into your experience. Every time you speak, you cast a spell, whether you realize it or not. Let me give you another example. A friend of mine, Ravi, used to say, "I'll never own a home. I'm not good with money." He said it so often, it became a mantra. Years went by, and he was stuck renting, living paycheck to paycheck, trapped in a cycle of limitation. One day, he attended a workshop about wealth consciousness and realized the power of his words. He started practicing affirmations: "I am worthy of financial freedom. I attract money easily. I am open to wealth in expected and unexpected ways." Within a year, he had saved enough for a down payment and bought his first home. Was it luck? Not entirely. It was alignment, the alignment of thought, word, and action. His words changed his reality because they first changed him. It's fascinating when you think about the ordinary conversations we have with ourselves. How often do we say, I can't, I'm not enough, I'll never make it? Each of those sentences carries weight. They are more than just words, they are energetic blueprints. They are invisible contracts we write with ourselves and the universe. And the opposite is equally true. When we choose words of possibility, of abundance, of confidence, we create a different blueprint. One where doors open, paths appear, and opportunities manifest. And this isn't just about money. Words shape relationships, health, career, and joy. But when it comes to wealth, the effect is often more visible, more tangible, because money is a form of energy that flows where it is welcomed. Imagine standing by a riverbank, tossing stones into the water. If your stones are heavy with fear and limitation, they sink. But if they are light with intention and possibility, they float, riding the current. Your words are like those stones. Choose them wisely, and they carry your desires toward manifestation. So, when you wake up tomorrow, pay attention to what you say. Notice the tone, the content, the energy behind your words. Are they pulling you toward scarcity, or are they guiding you toward abundance? Can you feel how powerful this is? You're not just talking to yourself, you're communicating with life itself. And every word has weight, every phrase has consequence. A simple sentence can shift a month, a year, even a lifetime. Imagine waking up every morning feeling tired, uninspired, and weighed down by the pressure of bills, deadlines, and responsibilities. Most people start their day this way, groggy, anxious, and instantly overwhelmed by the tasks ahead. But what if I told you that the very first few minutes of your day could change everything? That the words you choose in those moments could literally set the trajectory of your day, your week, your income, even your life? This is where the power of consistency comes into play. Words aren't magic when spoken once. They are magic when spoken repeatedly, intentionally, with belief. Let me tell you about a man named Alex. Alex had always dreamed of owning his own business, a small cafe that would become a hub for his community. But reality felt heavy. He told himself, I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough money. Maybe it's too risky. Every doubt he spoke reinforced fear, and fear became his cage. Then, one day, Alex learned about affirmations, not just words to repeat blindly, but declarations of what could be, spoken with intention. Every morning, he began saying, I am a successful entrepreneur. Money flows to me easily. Opportunities appear in perfect timing. He repeated these phrases consistently, not just once, but every day, morning and night, even when he doubted them. The first week, nothing seemed different. Alex still struggled to find investors. He still worried about bills. But he didn't stop. Day after day, the affirmations became part of his inner dialogue. Slowly, he noticed a shift. He became more confident when speaking to potential investors. He took initiative where before he hesitated. He started seeing opportunities where he used to see obstacles. And within months, the cafe he had dreamed of opened its doors. Not by chance, but because his repeated words had aligned his thoughts, beliefs, and actions toward success. Consistency is the secret ingredient here. Words alone are not enough if they are scattered, half-hearted, or fleeting. Imagine planting a seed in dry soil and watering it once, then forgetting it. Will it grow? No. But if you water it daily, nurture it, protect it, it begins to sprout. Words are the same. Affirmations spoken once are like a single drop of water. Affirmations spoken daily saturate your mind, reshape your beliefs, and eventually alter your reality. Consider someone you might know, a friend, a sibling, or even yourself, who complains daily about money. I'll never get ahead, I can't save a dime, the economy is against me. These repeated words are tiny nails hammering into the wall of their subconscious, building a prison around their potential. Now imagine replacing each of those sentences with a positive, wealth-focused affirmation. I attract money easily, I deserve financial abundance, every day brings me closer to my goals. Slowly, subtly, the subconscious mind begins to accept these statements as truth. The mind stops resisting. Fear softens. Action follows belief. There's a reason Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized daily repetition. She knew that the human mind is like a musical instrument. Strike a note once, and it's barely heard. Strike it repeatedly, and it resonates, echoing through every fiber of your being. By speaking affirmations consistently, you tune your inner instrument to the melody of abundance. You start seeing opportunities, noticing resources, and making decisions that align with the reality you are calling forth. It's not luck. It's alignment, the mind, heart, and actions harmonizing with the energy of wealth. Let me give you another example. Lila was a single mother working 2 jobs. She struggled to pay rent and feed her children. One evening, exhausted and frustrated, she heard a mentor say these words every day: I am financially secure. Money flows to me in abundance. I attract opportunities one need. Lila thought it sounded impossible, even a little silly, but she tried it anyway. Every morning, she said it aloud, even if it felt like lying. At first, nothing changed externally. But inside, she felt a shift. She became calmer, more confident. When a client offered her extra work, she didn't hesitate. When a scholarship opportunity appeared for her child, she applied immediately, trusting it would work out. Within 6 months, Lila's financial situation improved in ways she hadn't anticipated. Her words had aligned her actions with the very abundance she sought. Consistency also teaches the mind to recognize opportunity. Think about how often we miss chances because we're focused on scarcity, worry, or fear. Positive affirmations, spoken consistently, act like a lighthouse cutting through fog. They illuminate the paths that already exist, but which we might overlook in doubt. They train your subconscious to scan for solutions instead of problems, for possibilities instead of limitations. Every repeated phrase is a gentle nudge, rewiring thought patterns and creating a mental blueprint for wealth. And it's not just about speaking the words, it's about feeling them, believing them, and letting them shape your perception. Saying, I attract wealth easily while thinking, this will never work creates tension. But repeating it consistently with even a shred of belief begins to dissolve that tension. The subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's possible now and what's possible through alignment, it responds to repetition. Over time, what starts as words become convictions. Convictions become choices. Choices become actions. And actions lead to results. Consistency transforms affirmations from wishful thinking into lived reality. Think about the difference between someone who occasionally says, I want more money, and someone who faithfully declares, I am worthy of abundance. Wealth flows to me daily. The first is a fleeting desire. The second is a persistent vibration that shifts perception, energy, and ultimately, outcomes. It becomes a rhythm of life, a signal to the universe, to your mind, and to your soul that you are ready, willing, and open to receive. So the question isn't whether affirmations work. The question is whether you are willing to show up every day, speak your wealth words, and trust the process even when nothing seems to happen immediately. The universe doesn't respond to desperation or doubt. It responds to alignment, to clarity, to consistency. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to complain? How effortlessly we can focus on what's missing, what's broken, what isn't going right? Most of us do it every day. We vent to friends, scroll through social media, or mutter under our breath, I'll never get ahead, the economy is terrible, money is so hard to come by. At first, it feels harmless, almost natural. But here's the truth, every complaint, every fear-laden statement, is like a brick in a wall between you and the abundance you seek. Complaints are powerful, they send a signal to the universe, to your subconscious mind, to yourself, that you are focused on lack rather than flow. Let me tell you a story about a man named James. James had a steady job, a nice apartment, and enough to get by, but he was constantly worried about money. Every day, he would talk about bills, debts, and how little he had. I'll never save enough. There's always an unexpected expense, he would say. His friends noticed it. His colleagues noticed it. Most importantly, James noticed it, but not in the way that led to change. The more he complained, the more he felt trapped. The more he focused on what wasn't working, the less he noticed opportunities that were right in front of him. One day, he realized he had been stuck for years, repeating the same fears, attracting more of the same struggle, without even realizing the connection between his words and his results. Contrast this with a woman named Elena. She worked similar hours, faced similar bills, and had similar challenges, but she made a small, conscious choice to stop complaining about money. At first, it was difficult. Old habits die hard. But she replaced complaints with intentional words, speaking statements like, "Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I am open to receive abundance in expected and unexpected ways. I trust opportunities find me every day." The shift was subtle but profound. She didn't immediately win the lottery or receive a giant bonus. What she did experience was a change in perception. Suddenly, she noticed freelance opportunities she had overlooked, discounts and deals that saved her hundreds, and colleagues who referred her to projects that increased her income. It's fascinating how fear works. Fear is magnetic in the opposite direction of abundance. When we focus on fear, fear of not having enough, fear of failure, fear of missing out, we unconsciously attract more situations that reinforce that fear. Your mind is like a radar, scanning for evidence that proves your words and beliefs are true. If you constantly say, "I'm broke," the radar will find proof everywhere: the parking ticket, the unexpected bill, the friend who lost their job. But if you say, "I attract wealth easily," the radar shifts, scanning for opportunities, connections, and ideas that align with abundance. Let me give you a real-world example. A client I worked with, Sarah, had always been terrified of investing. She would say things like, "I don't understand money. I'm too late to start. The market is risky." Her words were filled with fear, and as a result, her money never grew. She kept it in savings accounts earning minimal interest, afraid of taking even small, calculated risks. Then, we began an exercise. She replaced her fear-based statements with intentional affirmations. "I am capable of making smart financial decisions. Money works for me. I trust the process of growth." The change wasn't instant, but it was consistent. She became more confident, began educating herself about investments, and within a year, her portfolio began to grow. Her words shifted her mindset, and her mindset shifted her actions. Think about the flow of a river. Complaints and fear are like large rocks blocking the water. The river still wants to flow, it always wants to move, but every rock slows it down, diverts it, creates turbulence. Intentional, positive words, on the other hand, act like clearing debris from the riverbed. They remove obstacles, smooth the path, and allow the water to move freely. Money, like energy, flows where it is welcomed, where there is no resistance. Your words either create dams or open channels. There's another layer to this. When we complain, we also reinforce old patterns in the people around us. Think of family gatherings, office conversations, or social media circles. When complaints dominate, they create a shared vibration of scarcity and lack. You may not notice it, but your environment begins to echo your words, amplifying the energy of fear and limitation. Intentional words, on the other hand, inspire and elevate. They change the collective energy around you, even subtly, creating a ripple effect. One phrase spoken with confidence and clarity can inspire an entire room, or even an online community, to see possibilities instead of obstacles. Here's a personal example. I once attended a seminar where a speaker shared a simple experiment. They asked the room to say aloud, "I am open to abundance," and notice the feeling it evoked. Then they asked, "I am afraid of not having enough." The difference in energy was palpable. The first phrase lifted the chest, opened the shoulders, and sparked a sense of possibility. The second phrase compressed the body, tightened the jaw, and created tension. It was a physical demonstration of what we often feel unconsciously. Our words shape not only our thoughts but our very physiology, our energy, and ultimately the results we attract. Complaints and fear create resistance because they anchor you to lack. They signal to the universe, and to your own mind, that you are not ready to receive. Intentional words, in contrast, create flow because they set a vibration of openness and receptivity. They tell the universe, "I am ready. I am willing. I am capable." And when you consistently broadcast that message, opportunities begin to appear not by magic, but because your actions, intuition, and mindset are aligned to notice and act upon them. Even small changes in language can create massive shifts. Consider the difference between saying, "I can't afford this," versus I will find a way to afford this. One phrase locks you in limitation. The other opens a door, even if you can't see what's behind it yet. The second phrase creates movement, because your subconscious mind starts scanning for solutions, and your behavior begins to follow. This is why intentional words are so powerful. They align thought, feeling, and action toward the result you desire. Every complaint we make, every fearful thought we voice, is a wall. Every intentional word is a bridge. It's a bridge from scarcity to abundance, from struggle to flow, from hesitation to action. And the incredible part is that we have the choice every single day which bridges to build, which walls to dismantle, and which words to speak into existence. Imagine a tiny drop of water falling repeatedly on a stone. At first, nothing seems to happen. You watch and wait, skeptical, thinking, how could a drop of water possibly make a difference? But the truth is, over time, that constant drip carves a groove, then a channel, and eventually shapes the stone completely. That is the power of consistency. That is the power of small, daily practices. Spoken affirmations, repeated day after day, are the drops of water that shape the boulders of your financial reality. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria had always dreamed of financial freedom, of living a life where money didn't feel like a constant struggle. But she had grown up in a household where scarcity was the norm. Her parents often said, "Money is tight. We never have enough. You'll learn how hard it is when you grow up." Those words had sunk deep into her subconscious. As an adult, she found herself repeating them, unconsciously attracting the same patterns of scarcity. One day, Maria read about Florence Scovel Shinn and the concept of speaking wealth words daily. She was skeptical, of course. It sounded almost too simple. But she decided to try it anyway. Every morning, Maria would stand in front of the mirror and say, "I am open to receive abundance. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I attract opportunities that grow my wealth." At first, it felt strange. Some days she forgot. Some days she said it half-heartedly. But she kept going, even when it felt silly. She committed to just a few minutes each day, believing that small, consistent effort would eventually create something bigger. Within a month, subtle changes began to appear. She noticed small opportunities she would have otherwise overlooked. A freelance client asked her for extra work. A friend mentioned a business idea she could invest in. Even her mindset began to shift. She felt more confident in negotiations, more willing to take calculated risks, more attentive to solutions rather than problems. By the end of 6 months, Maria had doubled her income and built a small emergency fund. She wasn't magically wealthy overnight, but the daily practice of spoken affirmations had real, tangible results. The drops of water had begun to carve the stone. Consider the ordinary moments in life where we can apply this principle. Every morning, before emails, before meetings, before the chaos of the day takes over, we have the chance to plant seeds with our words. Saying, "I am capable of financial growth or opportunities find me now" is not about pretending, it's about rewiring your mind to notice and act on the possibilities that are already present. It's about setting a tone for the day that aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the energy of abundance. There's a story I often think about. A young man named Ethan struggled with saving money. He would earn a decent paycheck but somehow never had anything left at the end of the month. One day, he decided to implement a simple daily practice. Every morning, he repeated, "I save easily. My money works for me. I make wise financial decisions." It felt awkward at first, but he committed. Over time, his subconscious began to align with these statements. He started noticing unnecessary expenses, became disciplined with budgeting, and even discovered side opportunities to grow his income. Within a year, he had saved enough for a down payment on a small home. Small, consistent words had turned into significant, tangible results. This is the secret most people overlook. They search for a big change, a magical breakthrough, a lottery win, or a sudden windfall. But the truth is, wealth is rarely a single event. It's the accumulation of consistent, intentional actions. Each spoken affirmation is like a small deposit into a bank account. At first, it seems insignificant. But compound interest works over time, and the same is true for your mindset. Small words, spoken daily, accumulate into a financial reality you could hardly imagine when you began. Think of it this way: your mind is like fertile soil. Every word you speak is a seed. Spoken once, it may take root, but spoken daily, it grows stronger, deeper, and more resilient. Eventually, these seeds sprout into actions, habits, and results. When you speak wealth affirmations daily, you aren't just hoping for money to appear, you are preparing yourself to recognize and act on opportunities, to make wise choices, and to take inspired action. The universe responds to this alignment, and tangible results follow naturally. Here's another example. Priya worked in a corporate job she didn't love, but she wanted financial independence. She began a practice of daily affirmations: I attract wealth in perfect ways. I am ready to receive abundance. Money comes to me from multiple sources. Initially, nothing obvious happened. But over the months, she found herself networking differently, noticing opportunities for promotions, freelancing, and investments. Within a year, Priya had multiple income streams and was on track to reach financial independence. The key wasn't luck, it was the daily, disciplined practice of shaping her mind and actions with words. What's important to realize is that these practices don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Even 5 minutes a day, spoken with intention and feeling, can create momentum. Say your affirmations in the morning, on your commute, or before bed. Write them down, speak them aloud, visualize the results. The more senses you involve, the voice, the mind, the heart, the stronger the imprint on your subconscious. This is how small daily practices compound into results that feel almost miraculous over time. It's also worth noting that consistency builds trust within yourself. When you commit to a simple daily practice, you are proving to yourself that you can follow through. This trust carries over into other areas of life, your career, investments, relationships, and amplifies your ability to take action when opportunities arise. Words alone may start the process, but repeated action rooted in belief solidifies it. Even the smallest shifts matter. Changing from "I can't afford this" to "I will find a way to afford this" each day may not feel transformative at first. But over weeks and months, your mind begins scanning for solutions, and your actions start aligning with the wealth you speak into existence. This is how small, consistent practices lead to real, tangible financial results. Have you ever planted a seed in dry, cracked soil? No matter how good the seed is, no matter how carefully you water it, it struggles. It may sprout weakly or fail to grow at all. Now imagine planting that same seed in rich, fertile soil, soft, moist, full of nutrients. The seed takes root easily, shoots upward with strength, and eventually flourishes into a tree that bears fruit abundantly. Your mindset and beliefs are exactly like that soil. They determine whether the seeds you plant with your words, your actions, and your intentions will thrive or wither. Consider this story. A man named Liam had always dreamed of starting his own business. He was intelligent, skilled, and driven. But his inner dialogue was full of limiting beliefs. "I'm not good enough to succeed," he often said. "The market is too competitive. I'll probably fail." These beliefs, repeated over years, became the dry, cracked soil in which he tried to plant his financial seeds. He launched small projects, invested time and money, but results were inconsistent. The seeds of his effort never seemed to grow, and frustration mounted. He blamed circumstances, luck, even other people. Then, one day, Liam stumbled upon the idea that his beliefs, his mindset, might be the real barrier. He began to examine the internal soil in which his aspirations were planted. He started replacing self-doubt with affirmations of possibility. Every morning he repeated, "I am capable of success. I deserve financial abundance. I have the skills and courage to thrive." Gradually, the barren soil of his mindset began to change. He noticed opportunities he had previously overlooked. His confidence allowed him to approach clients differently, negotiate deals better, and persist through challenges without giving up. Over time, the seeds he had planted, projects, investments, efforts, began to grow into tangible, flourishing results. Your beliefs are powerful, even when hidden. They shape how you perceive the world, how you interpret challenges, and how you respond to opportunities. Someone with a belief that wealth is unattainable will unconsciously block opportunities, hesitate at decisions, and interpret setbacks as proof of limitation. Someone with a mindset rooted in abundance, on the other hand, sees challenges as temporary, opportunities as everywhere, and setbacks as lessons rather than failures. One is like a desert, the other, a fertile garden. Think about childhood programming. Many of us grew up hearing phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "You can't be rich without taking risks," or "We never have enough." These phrases are like layers of compacted soil, hard and unyielding. If you try to plant seeds of abundance in that soil without changing it, they struggle to take root. The words you speak, the affirmations you use, and the mindset you cultivate are like softening, nourishing the soil, turning it into a rich foundation where prosperity can flourish. There's a story that illustrates this beautifully. A woman named Priya grew up in a modest household. She wanted to become financially independent, but she carried the unspoken belief that wealth was for other people, not for someone like her. Every time she thought about earning more, a whisper of doubt held her back. "I'm not worthy. People like me don't get rich." These beliefs were the compacted soil. Then Priya began a practice. She spoke daily affirmations about her worthiness and capability. "I deserve abundance. I am capable of creating wealth. I attract opportunities effortlessly." Over months, these words softened her mental soil. She began taking courses, networking with confidence, and pursuing opportunities she had previously avoided. Eventually, her mindset allowed the seeds of her effort to grow into financial freedom. Beliefs shape perception, and perception shapes results. If you believe scarcity is inevitable, you will only see scarcity. If you believe abundance is possible, you will see abundance everywhere. The universe responds to the energy you radiate, but before it can respond, your internal soil must be fertile enough to allow seeds to take root. Without belief, effort can be wasted, opportunities missed, and words lose their power. Here's another real-life example. A client named David was trying to invest in stocks but felt intimidated by the complexity of the market. His belief system was full of fear. "I'll lose money. I don't understand investing. People like me never succeed in finance." These beliefs prevented him from learning, experimenting, or taking small calculated steps. He started a mindset shift by repeating daily affirmations. "I am capable of learning about investments. I make informed decisions that grow my wealth. I trust my ability to succeed." Over time, his beliefs changed the soil in his mind. He enrolled in courses, sought advice, and began making small investments confidently. Today, those investments have grown significantly, a direct reflection of the fertile mental soil he created. It's important to understand that this process doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. Fertile soil doesn't magically produce a tree without water, sunlight, and care. Likewise, positive beliefs must be paired with action, learning, and persistence. The difference is that a fertile mindset allows effort to flourish, mistakes to become lessons, and opportunities to be recognized. Without fertile soil, even the best seeds fail. With it, even small efforts can yield remarkable results. Imagine two people starting a new venture. One believes, "I can't do this. I'm not enough. What if I fail?" The other thinks, "I am capable. I am worthy. I can grow and adapt." They both face the same obstacles. The first sees roadblocks, hesitates, and gives up at the first sign of difficulty. The second sees challenges as opportunities, finds creative solutions, and persists. Which one is more likely to succeed? The answer is clear. Mindset is the soil from which action grows. Beliefs are also contagious. Surround yourself with a mindset of abundance, and it lifts others, creating a supportive environment that nurtures growth. Surround yourself with negativity and scarcity, and even your best intentions struggle to thrive. The soil of your mind is not isolated, it interacts with your environment, relationships, and habits. Fertile soil attracts more fertile soil, amplifying growth and opportunity. Every time you speak affirmations, visualize abundance, and act with confidence, you are tending your mental soil. You are loosening compacted layers of doubt, watering the ground with hope, and adding nutrients of possibility. Over time, that soil becomes rich, capable of supporting not just small seedlings, but towering trees of wealth, stability, and success. And here's the beauty of it: the soil doesn't care where you start. No matter how compacted, dry, or barren your beliefs have been, it can be nurtured. You can soften it with intention. You can fertilize it with daily affirmations. You can enrich it with learning, gratitude, and persistence. The seeds of wealth you plant today will grow more easily tomorrow. And the longer you nurture the soil, the more abundant your harvest becomes. Have you ever tried to learn something new, maybe playing an instrument, learning a language, or practicing a sport? At first, it feels awkward. You stumble, you make mistakes, you wonder if you're even capable. But then, day after day, you show up. You practice a little longer, a little more carefully, a little more intentionally. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, you improve. One day, without even realizing it, you find yourself fluent, skillful, confident. That's the magic of consistency. That's the magic of repetition. And when it comes to speaking wealth words, affirmations, and intentions, the principle is exactly the same. Showing up consistently, with belief, transforms your reality. Let me tell you a story about Hannah. Hannah had always struggled financially. No matter how hard she worked, her income barely covered her expenses. She had read books about abundance, watched motivational videos, and even tried affirmations a few times. But she would say them sporadically, half-heartedly, and often gave up after a few days when nothing seemed to change. Then, she decided to do something different. She committed to speaking specific wealth words every single morning and night, no excuses. She said aloud, "I am worthy of abundance. Money flows to me easily. Opportunities find me now." At first, it felt repetitive, almost mechanical, but she persisted. After a few weeks, subtle shifts began to appear. She noticed small opportunities she had overlooked: side gigs, discounts, helpful advice from friends. Her confidence grew, and she started making better financial decisions. Months later, a project she hadn't even considered turned into a lucrative side business. Hannah realized that the power wasn't in a single affirmation, it was in the consistent repetition combined with her belief. Every repetition was like a drop of water carving a path, steadily reshaping the terrain of her life. Consistency works because the subconscious mind responds to repetition. Think about how habits are formed. You don't wake up one day and suddenly become disciplined, fit, or skilled. You show up daily, sometimes with enthusiasm, sometimes with resistance, and over time your repeated actions shape who you are. Words function the same way. Each spoken affirmation is a signal, a vibration, a blueprint for the subconscious mind. Say it once, and it may create a spark. Say it daily, and it becomes a current. Say it for weeks, months, and years, and it becomes the architecture of your reality. Belief is the fuel that powers this process. Without belief, repetition can feel empty, like shaking a bottle with no liquid inside. But when you pair consistent repetition with genuine belief, your words carry energy. That energy shapes perception, influences decisions, and aligns circumstances in your favor. Let me illustrate this with an example. A young entrepreneur named Raj struggled to secure investors for his startup. He practiced affirmations sporadically, repeating phrases like, "I attract funding. Investors see my potential." But without real belief, the words felt hollow. He continued facing rejection. Then, Raj decided to show up consistently, saying the words daily, with genuine faith in his vision. Over time, something remarkable happened. He began to approach potential investors with more confidence. His presentations became sharper, his networking more effective, and he started seeing opportunities where he had previously seen obstacles. Within a year, he secured multiple investors and grew his business beyond his initial dreams. The difference wasn't luck, it was the amplification created by belief combined with consistent repetition. Consider the physics of a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, almost insignificant. But as it rolls consistently, it gathers snow, weight, and momentum. By the time it reaches the bottom, it has transformed into a massive force capable of moving mountains. Consistency is the rolling. Belief is the momentum. Together, they turn small words into a powerful reality. There's also a psychological component. Human minds are wired to notice patterns. When you repeat positive, wealth-focused words daily, your subconscious starts to detect patterns of possibility rather than limitation. You become more alert to opportunities, more courageous in taking action, and more resilient in the face of challenges. Each repetition reinforces a belief that eventually becomes automatic. Over time, you no longer have to consciously convince yourself, you simply act in alignment with abundance. Let me share another story. A woman named Sophia wanted to attract more income but constantly doubted her abilities. She started a daily ritual. Morning and night, she repeated, "I am worthy of abundance. Money flows to me effortlessly. I am open to receive opportunities every day." At first, the words felt like a whisper against a wall of doubt. But she persisted. Within months, she noticed unexpected freelance opportunities, a higher-paying job offer, and even small windfalls like gifts and reimbursements she hadn't anticipated. The consistency of her words, reinforced by growing belief, created a ripple effect that transformed her financial reality. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. There will be days you forget, days you feel skeptical, days you question if it's working. But the key is persistence, showing up again and again, even when results aren't immediately visible. That repetition compounds. Like interest in a savings account, the effects may be invisible at first, but they accumulate over time into substantial, undeniable results. Think of it this way: your words are seeds, your belief is water, and consistency is sunlight. Seeds alone may not grow. Water alone may not sustain them. Sunlight alone won't bring them to fruition. But together, every day, they create life. Repetition turns intention into reality. It rewires your mind, reshapes your perception, and aligns your actions with the opportunities the universe has placed around you. The most inspiring part of all this is that you have total control over it. You choose your words. You choose your beliefs. You choose to show up consistently. No one else can do it for you. Every morning, every night, every repetition is an investment into your financial future, a declaration that you are ready to receive abundance. Over time, those investments accumulate, and the results manifest in ways you may not have imagined when you first started. Consistency and belief are inseparable. One without the other limits the effect. Together, they are unstoppable. They amplify each word you speak, each intention you set, and each action you take. Repetition transforms desire into habit, hope into conviction, and affirmations into reality. Every day you speak your wealth words, you are laying another brick in the foundation of your abundance, another link in the chain connecting intention to result, another step on the path to financial freedom. So today, I ask you, what will you say to yourself tomorrow morning? Will you whisper doubt, fear, and limitation? Or will you speak words that open doors, that light the path, that call abundance to your life? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The moment is now. Say it with me in your mind: I am worthy. I am capable. I am open to receive. Say it again: I am worthy. I am capable. I am open to receive. Let these words echo in your heart, let them sink into your soul, let them become the rhythm of your life. Every day you wait, every day you hesitate, is a day that abundance passes you by. Every fear you speak aloud is a wall you build around your potential. But every word of faith, every word of intention, every word of action you speak today, tears down those walls, opens those doors, brings the flow of wealth closer to you than ever before. So I challenge you, don't wait another day. Speak your wealth words. Speak them with power. Speak them with certainty. Speak them until they are more than words, until they are the very vibration of your life. Because here's the truth you need to feel deep in your bones: the words you speak today are the seeds of the reality you live tomorrow. The words you speak today are the doorway to the life you have always dreamed of. The words you speak today can change everything, if you choose to believe, if you choose to act, if you choose to speak them now. And when you do, when you finally step into that power, you will look back and realize it all began with the words you dared to say. Speak them. Believe them. Receive them. And watch your life transform.